Hi everyone! I am here today with a requested video. This is my long-awaited follow-up to my finances video that I think I posted in 2015. If you don't follow my channel, I quit my job recently and I've been off for about a month and a little bit now. I'm planning to take a year off, but at the end of the year, I don't know if I'm going to go back to full-time work, maybe work part-time. Today I'm going to talk about how I set myself up financially to be in the position to be able to quit my job. I want to preface this video, as always, by saying that all of the things I'm going to be talking about in this video work for me personally and my personal situation. Even if a lot of these tips work for you, it may not mean that you can quit your job right away. I worked full-time for 18 years before I could take this step and be comfortable with it. 18 years isn't the magic number. It might be longer or shorter for some people, but again, I'm just sharing what works for me personally. I had been working for 18 years full-time in the same industry, and I probably wanted to make a change over 10 years ago. I really wanted to see what else was out there, what else I could be doing with my life. However, at that time, my financial situation was very different. I was single, engaged to be married, so we had a wedding to pay for. I was also paying off this condo that I'm sitting in now. I was doing my MBA and I had just switched jobs. So for all of those reasons, I wasn't able to take a break then, and instead I continued to work for 10 years. The first thing I did to set myself up financially so I could leave my job was to pay off all of my debts. I carry no credit card debt. I didn't have a car. I actually don't even have my driver's license. I was lucky enough to come out of school with no student loans. The only debt I really had was the mortgage on this condo. We paid off our condo 6 or 7 years ago now. That is always my number one tip, is to pay off your debt as soon as you can. It frees up so many possibilities and so many options. The second thing I did to set myself up financially so I could quit my job was I saved a ton of money. If you follow my videos, you'll know that I set a savings goal for myself every single year as part of my annual goal setting process. In my mind, I'm always trying to balance living today to its fullest and saving for a rainy day. Those two concepts are constantly on a seesaw in my mind. So I love traveling, I love fashion, I loved makeup. But on the other side of the seesaw was saving for a rainy day and saving for retirement. So I always had those two sides, and I've been lucky enough to be able to spend a lot of money, but also to save a lot of money. The only money I keep in my primary checking account is enough to cover the minimum balance that I require to waive the monthly fee. Any other funds in excess of that minimum required balance, I move that to a financial instrument that will generate some sort of income for me. For example, a high interest savings account, a GIC, dividend stocks, or mutual funds. The risk-reward profile of each of these financial instruments is very different. So before you go ahead and, say, buy a mutual fund or shares of a particular company, please do your research and understand your risk tolerance level, as well as the risk-reward scenarios for anything you might be considering investing in. If you want to start immediately and you don't have time to research right now, I would recommend just opening up a high-interest savings account. So even if you're getting, 1 to 3%, it's better than nothing. The third and final strategy that I'm going to share with you on how I set myself up financially to leave my full-time job is I reduced my expenses. I'm not sure how many of you did watch my 2015 video on how to save money, but in it, my first tip was to start tracking your expenses. I'd be curious to know if you did watch that video, if you started back then. If you did, you will have 3 years of data now that you can play with and analyze, and you'll have a good sense of where you spend your money. If you didn't start back then, it's okay, you can start today. And please do start today if you're watching this video and you want something financially out of your life. Right after you watch this video, you can think back on where you spent money today and just jot that down. You can use an app or you can use an Excel spreadsheet like I do. Starting to track today will put you in that right mindset. Before you know it, you're gonna have 3, 6, 9, 12 months of data that you can work with. I started doing experiments within my own life. These were typically monthly challenges or monthly experiments to see if I could live more simply and with less stuff. This part is really interesting to me, and it's probably the part that I wasn't aware would have such a big impact on my life. When I started the makeup inventory and when I started decluttering my makeup and other things, I found I didn't want to buy makeup anymore. So whereas before I was spending hundreds, even thousands of dollars on makeup, when I started the makeup inventory and when I started decluttering, it pretty much went down to practically zero. I would still buy things I needed here and there, but I didn't spend on excess. It was so interesting to me that just the act of doing the makeup inventory and decluttering made me not want to buy stuff anymore. Same thing with the capsule wardrobe experiment. When I started the capsule wardrobe, I stopped wanting to buy clothing. When I did the Eat at Home challenge, I stopped wanting to go out to restaurants. Now I'm toying with a travel challenge. I don't think I'm going to limit myself with travel. I'm just going to go with my gut feeling, and if I want to travel, I'm going to travel. If I don't want to travel, I'm not going to travel. And right now, I don't want to travel. But that may change. It's really funny how all of these experiments, everything that I've pretty much shared on my YouTube channel, has helped me get to a place where I felt comfortable with leaving my job. And that's because I was able to reduce so many discretionary expenses. Now that I quit my job, it seems like my expenses are even lower. I have a feeling I don't want to travel because I'm not really running away from my full-time work. I don't need that mental break and that complete change of scenery in order to make myself feel better. Now I just feel pretty good every day. Not every day is perfect, and of course I still go through ups and downs, but I don't have that feeling that I need to run away anymore. So travel expenses are zero right now. Hubby and I also don't really drink that much anymore. I don't feel like I need to come home after a long day and unwind with a glass of wine. So we're saving tons of money not buying wine and spirits and beer. This is a really long rambly video, but I have 3 more points that I want to make. These 3 points are more personal. They apply to my situation and may not be widely applicable, so I wanted to save them for the end. The first thing I wanted to talk about is that even though I won't be working full-time, I still do have some form of income. I have passive income from my dividends, my interest, stock appreciation from my mutual funds and the individual stocks I hold in my portfolio. I also have this YouTube channel which doesn't pay a lot of money in terms of AdSense revenue, but every little bit of course does help. As well, I've taken on 2 projects now that are within the industry where I used to have my full-time employment. I have been doing this type of project work all along. I got involved with this organization over 10 years ago, and every year I do a little project here and there for them, but now that I have more time, I'm working on 2 projects simultaneously. I still don't anticipate that it's going to take a lot of time, and there won't be a lot of income from these projects. However, I'm totally fine with that because this was supposed to be a year of self-discovery. So any money that I make from these projects is just an added bonus. The second item that I wanted to talk about is the fact that I'm in a marriage. My husband works full-time, and of course that is going to be a huge security blanket. That being said, I did make this decision to leave my job without any financial support from him. What I mean by that is I'm still going to be continuing to pay my share of all of our shared expenses, and I don't expect him to cover anything per se. Me quitting my job but having a spouse or a partner who remains working full-time gives me a lot of peace of mind. The last thing I wanted to talk about is children. My husband and I decided not to have children. We decided this very early on. Our decision not to have children, of course, has a huge impact on our financial situation. We're able to have a lot more financial freedom, but of course I understand that this isn't everyone's situation and not everyone makes the same decision that we did. So those are all the points that I wanted to address in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm planning to record a lot more of this type of video. A lot of you are interested in this topic, and I totally get it. Up until even 4 or 5 months ago, I was in a situation where I didn't like my job. I wasn't happy, but I didn't know if I could actually make the decision to leave. A couple of weeks before I quit my job, I actually told one of my girlfriends there's no way I can leave, I'm way too practical. I didn't see myself taking the risk of leaving full-time employment, and only a few months later, I'm sitting here and recording this video for you guys. I hope you guys can implement some of the tips from these videos and potentially take your life in a different direction, whatever that direction may be that you would like. It may take 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get there, but every step that you make in that direction is a step towards your goal. And one day you'll look back and you'll see all that you've accomplished, and hopefully you'll be super proud of yourself. That's going to be it for today. Thank you again for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer, or I'll try to incorporate them into a future video. I hope you're having a great start to October. I will see you very soon in another video. Until then, please take care and bye for now.